If you're worried about losing $64,000 buying a house right now, you need to see this. Everybody's talking about falling prices and incentives, but I'm about to show you why today's deals are masking a much bigger risk and how we're getting closer to a repeat of 2009 than you realize. Most buyers have no idea how builder tactics are hiding real inventory threats and how ignoring this one signal could lock you into a 14.3% overpay or worse. Stick with me for the exact numbers. The hidden charts no headlines show, and the one move that can literally save or lose you tens of thousands before 2026. This is not financial advice, purely education from real market data. Let's break down what's really happening now and how to outsmart the cycle. Today, I'm walking here in Corte Madera, California, down Paloma Drive, with rows of seemingly beautiful homes all around us. But beneath the calm surface, there's trouble brewing throughout the real estate market, and I want to make sure you and every buyer, seller, or investor truly see what's going on before you make any big moves. First, let's look at where things stand right now, because home builders are usually the canary in the coal mine when it comes to where the housing market is headed. Each month, new data keeps rolling in, and it's telling the same story. Home builders are having a brutal time selling properties. Massive discounts? Yes, still not enough. Huge incentives? Also not cutting it. And get this, many builders are now even offering buyers a 4% mortgage rate. That sounds amazing, right? But people still aren't showing up to buy. Let's get specific, because numbers matter. According to the Federal Reserve Bank of St. Louis, the number of completed but unsold brand new homes has shot up to levels we haven't seen since the summer of 2009. At the end of last year, builders were confident 2025 was supposed to be strong. So they fired up construction, poured money and labor into new homes, betting hard on future demand. But here's the plot twist. Demand never arrived. Supply soared, but buyers didn't follow. Check this chart out, spanning all the way back to the year 2000, and you'll see today's unsold new home levels are the highest since 2009. Yes, 2009 was even higher, but today's climb is sharp, and there's no guarantee we've hit the ceiling. Now at this point, you're probably thinking, surely cutting prices or lowering rates even further would change things, right? Let me show you why it isn't so simple. Take Dr. Horton, as big as they come. 1 out of every 7 new homes in America is theirs. Not only are they listing 3.99% mortgage rates through their own in-house financing, they've also cut their average selling price by 3% over the last 12 months. Announced plans? More price cuts going into 2026, but buyers still aren't biting. In fact, last quarter, Dr. Horton moved 14.5 thousand new homes, a 21% drop from last year. They're building less, but still building, hoping, like many, that buyers eventually come off the sidelines. Here's another data point. Brand new home sales now make up about 20% of all US housing market transactions. So what happens in this segment has a giant knock-on effect for all sellers everywhere. But it's not just Dr. Horton. America's second largest builder, LAR, has been offering up to $64,000 in incentives on an average home sale last quarter, just to meet sales targets. Read that again, $64,000 in discounts and perks. Yet, even that has been barely enough to move the needle. Their combined deals, a mix of mortgage subsidies and price cuts, add up to a 14.3% reduction. That's numbers we haven't seen since the depths of the global financial crisis. Direct from the source, LAR says the last time incentives ran that DEEP was back then. Pause for a second, because this is your first key insight, first key shift. Significant incentives like a 14.3% price cut may sound like a buyer's dream, but they actually signal deep underlying weakness. When the biggest builders in the nation can't move inventory with 5-figure discounts, you have to ask, where is real demand? Drop a comment if you've seen any wild builder incentives in your city. Share what's happening locally so others know it's not just a headline. Let's keep walking down the data lane. Builders are trying everything. Lower rates? Not enough. Steeper price cuts? Still slow sales. In fact, when you line up the chart of sales incentives as a percentage of builder revenue, it's neck and neck with where we were in 2009. The only way for builders to get homes off their books right now is to accept lower profit margins, slash construction pace, and hope the storm passes. Second key shift. Inventory overhang is no longer just a national headline. It's regional. and spreading fast. If you live in the Northeast or Midwest in a tight, low inventory neighborhood, you might be insulated for now. But if you're in Georgia, Florida, Texas, South Carolina, Utah, Arizona, or most of California, the landscape has changed fast. Even the builders are shocked at how quickly softness in real estate has moved into areas once thought recession-proof. For example, in Southern California, the inventory of unsold new homes is now double compared to just 1 year ago. Let's see the actual numbers. Based on John Burns Research and Consulting, a healthy market means 2 unsold units per development. In Southern California, the average is now 5. That's 2.5 times the level considered balanced. Imagine walking a block of 5 new homes. On average, all 5 could still have for sale signs up. And the problem's not limited to inventory. The job market in California is the worst in the country right now. Officially, the unemployment rate is above 5.5%. Unofficially, it could be well into double digits, factoring in people who have stopped looking for work. On top of that, the cost of living is off the charts. Even getting enough for a down payment is brutal in this environment. Meanwhile, Washington, D.C. has seen unsold new home inventory spike 130% year over year. And that's not an isolated stat. Over 300,000 government employees there have faced job cuts already this year, and the ongoing government shutdown has only deepened the pain. Stick around because in 2 minutes, I'll give you the exact framework I use to spot if your local market is about to shift, and how to know when a listing is truly a deal versus just desperate marketing. But first, here's a curveball the headlines love to throw at buyers. Investors are ramping up home purchases again. As of the third quarter of 2025, you may read claims that 30% of all single-family homes are now being snapped up by investors, up from 27% the year before. According to Cotality, formerly known as CoreLogic, that's true. Those are their numbers. They define an investor as someone owning at least 3 homes. But don't let this story fool you. Here's why. Third key shift. Headlines about investors buying more ignore the real reason their share has gone up. Regular homebuyer demand has collapsed. The percentage of investor purchases rises as everyday buyers disappear, not necessarily because investors are flooding back. It's all about shrinking the denominator. This is a classic example of media spin designed to trigger FOMO and get you off the fence. If this is making sense so far, drop a money bag in the comments so I know you're tracking these hidden market shifts. And let's see how many of us are seeing the same thing in our local markets. Let's deepen this data story. Institutional buyers, those big landlords, almost never buy at market price. They expect a 20% or bigger discount compared to what a regular buyer pays. And right now, builders simply aren't willing or able to go that deep. For example, a huge operator like American Homes for Rent can sometimes build a property cheaper than buying it from a builder thanks to scale and cost efficiencies. If the big institutional buyers won't pay today's prices, why should everyday buyers feel pressured in? Quick visual for you. Imagine a bar chart with regular homebuyer average price and investor paid price in 3 states. In Utah, investors are paying an average of 35% more than the typical homebuyer. In California, it's 23% more. In New York, 12% more. These aren't small premiums, they're risky bets. In fact, you'd think investors learned from last year. Zillow, Open Door, iBuyer programs. They all thought they could outplay the cycle by flipping homes, and most got burned. Comment below if you know someone who lost money hopping on the last real estate hype train, or if you've seen inflated investor sales in your area. Why would investors pay 20%, 30%, even 35% more? Some are chasing potential short-term rental profits, think Airbnb, even as the actual business case for that gets shakier by the month. Others are just desperate to park institutional capital hoping for yield in a tight market. But if average buyers can't make these numbers work, neither will big firms long-term. In Utah right now, with a 35% investor premium, traditional rental income can't possibly cover the spread. In California, those paying 23% more face the same math: negative cash flow, slow resale, and rising risk. If you see these headlines, know this: these investors often end up driving neighborhood comps higher, making it even harder for owner-occupants to find value. And that brings us to a quick myth-busting checkpoint. If you see stories warning investors are flooding in, act fast, or get left behind, pause. It's much more likely their share is up only because regular buyers are gone. The truth is, both regular buyers and investors are buying far fewer homes. Seeing a 30% investor share does not mean more homes are being sold, only that a shrinking slice of transactions are going to this group. If you've delayed buying because the headlines make you nervous, type waiting in the comments. Let's see how many in the reinvest community are holding back and why. Maybe you'll connect with others in the same boat. But there's more. The current government shutdown is crashing the housing market from another angle. National Association of Realtors surveyed 641 members across all 50 states, and over 35% reported sales delays or cancellations thanks to disruptions in crucial federal programs. USDA, VA loans, HUD, FEMA flood insurance, and more. For families using VA loans or relying on USDA, you can't even get a mortgage processed right now. Some buyers and sellers are backing out of deals simply because they can't get the insurance, the funding, or the job certainty they need. Picture this: military families caught in limbo. No paycheck, loan process frozen, contract canceled. In fact, Redfin reports real estate transaction cancellations just reached the highest level ever recorded. That's pushing morale and buyer confidence to major lows, meaning even more sellers will face difficulties unloading their homes in the next 6 to 12 months. Let's pause here and break this entire situation into an actionable framework. The 3 moves homebuyers must get right in 2025. Move number 1, stop blindly chasing discounts. When you see incentives or a 4% mortgage rate, don't assume it's a golden ticket. Focus on the total cost. The sale price is the one number you're truly locked into. Price is permanent. Remember, you can refinance your rate or swap insurance, but you cannot change the original sale price. That number sets your property tax for life and defines your future equity. Move number 2. Track inventory and identify relistings. We're at a record for delisted homes. Sellers pulling their listings in 2025, planning to relist in spring. When inventory rises yet demand stays low, your odds of negotiating power soar. Next year, many of today's delisted properties will return. Don't get fooled by a new listing tag. Use listing history tools often available online or via your agent to see if the home was for sale earlier. If it relists for less, it's likely the seller is finally motivated. Move number 3. Offer what the data justifies, not the seller's dream. If they're asking $1 million and you know the real value is $800,000, offering $750,000 isn't rude. It's negotiation grounded in reality. Sellers may reject it at first, but in many cases, market pressure will force corrections. Your goal is fair market value, not propping up old price bubbles. If the price stays high, walk away. There will be more motivated sellers soon. Go download the free 2024 Homebuyer Readiness Checklist I put together. Link is in the description and the first pinned comment. It'll walk you step by step through evaluating any deal in today's market and help you avoid costly missteps other buyers are making right now. Screenshot this 3-move framework and keep it handy for the next time you're scrolling listings or talking to an agent. It will save you real money. Next, let's debunk another headline you'll hear around this time. Year-end is the best time to buy. Sure, year-end sometimes brings lower prices, and yes, mortgage rates for well-qualified buyers are sitting in the low 6s. If you buy before December 31st, you may get a small mortgage interest or property tax deduction, but think before you leap. Just because incentives or tax breaks exist, that doesn't mean it's smart to rush into a deal you can't afford. Inventory is growing. Many sellers who delist now will relist soon, often for less. The real deals? Most likely to appear in the next spring, not under year-end pressure. If you want real data, we're seeing the highest rate of delisted homes ever. And even with these removals, inventories are climbing back toward pre-pandemic highs, all because buyer demand is missing. By next spring, there'll be a second wave of relistings, often at better prices. Sellers will try to market these as fresh. Don't be fooled. Always check the listing history. Let's recap with another quotable share. If the big investors won't pay full price, there's no reason you should feel pressured to settle now. Let the numbers be your guide, not the headlines or the hype. To wrap up this segment, here's your personalized timeline. 1. Spend this week researching your target market. Use free online inventory trackers and your agent's tools to spot trends in delistings and price cuts. 2. Over the next 30 to 90 days, start mapping relisted homes. Build a watch list of motivated sellers as they appear. Download the checklist for guided STEPs. 3. Over the next 6 to 12 months, keep a log of actual prices paid in your area, not just listing prices. You'll spot genuine opportunities, plus avoid the traps a lot of rushed buyers are falling into right now. Share this video with any friend or family member tempted to buy right now because of FOMO. You could be saving them a multi-year regret. Remember, all of this is for educational purposes only, not financial advice. Real estate markets are unpredictable and past trends do not guarantee future results. Always consult a qualified licensed financial advisor or real estate professional before making any big decisions. My goal is to provide accurate data and proven frameworks so you can be your own best advocate in this market. Bottom line, opportunity is coming for patient buyers, but it pays to understand what the signals actually mean. Don't let flashy headlines, investor fear-mongering, or shallow incentives rush you into a bad deal. Use the checklist, plug into our community in the comments, and be ready to pounce when the numbers, not the noise, line up in your favor. Stick around. In my next video, I'll break down the exact local signs that the market is turning, plus the one hidden metric you can use to time your move in 2026. Quick recap before you go. Home builders are cutting prices and offering unprecedented incentives, yet buyers remain absent and inventory is soaring. Regional crises are deepening. In places like Southern California, unsold new homes have doubled year over year, and investor activity only looks strong because regular buyers have pulled back. The government shut and job losses are further freezing critical funding and real estate programs. Here's what to do with all this. This week, get familiar with your local housing inventory and track delistings. Over the next 1 to 3 months, update your watch list with homes that are relisted or drop in price. It often signals genuine seller motivation. Over the next year, maintain a spreadsheet of actual sale prices. Use my 2024 Home Buyer Readiness Checklist to guide your research. It's free, links below. And remember, you won't see drastic improvement or bargains overnight. The best opportunities will show up over the next 6 to 12 months for buyers who bring patience, data, and healthy skepticism to the table. If you found this valuable, hit the subscribe button and join 40,000 others in the Ray Invests community who get weekly real estate data and tactical strategies, not hype. Next episode, I'll walk you through the specific signals your own city is about to pivot up or down and how to avoid buyer mistakes in 2026. And don't forget, comment your #1 real estate question below, or just type waiting if you're on the sidelines. Let's build knowledge together. Final reminder, this channel is all about education and analysis, not direct investment advice. Past performance never guarantees future results, and every market is different. Consult a qualified financial advisor or real estate professional before making any financial decisions. Thanks for watching Ray Invests.